All right, first things first, guys. We won the game. The Atlanta Falcons won the game. They beat the Saints. It was ugly. It was definitely ugly. We will talk about that in a second here. But we got the win, and that is the most important thing at the end of the day. I would much rather win ugly than lose pretty, you know? Second thing I'd like to say is, gosh, I hate the Saints. I absolutely hate the Saints. Now, I probably don't hate them as much as other Falcons fans, especially that Falcons fan that decided to curb stomp that Saints fan in at a sporting event. And obviously this has to go without showing. If you are a fan like that at all, absolutely despicable. I'm disgusted that another Falcons fan would take that to a degree with the Saints fan. There was also Saints fans punching Falcons fans too. So very bad look on both sides from both fan bases. Obviously that's not relevant to the video. Just I wanted to make a little joke in there and then get serious with y'all. But the Falcons got the win. That's the thing that matters. I probably dislike the Saints a lot less than most people do. I have family that likes Saints. I know. But I have family that likes the Saints, so when they aren't playing Atlanta, I'll root for them a little bit. I never want them to win the Super Bowl or like be able to hold anything over us, you know. I'm always going to root for Atlanta to do better. But it's like at the end of the day, I would love if the Falcons went 17-0 and the Saints went 15-2 and both their losses were to Atlanta and then we beat them in the playoffs, you know? And a game like this, so good, especially after last year, final game in the season when the Saints stat padded on us, to be able to win with a Younghoe Koo, the GOAT kicker, making a massive 58-yarder, his all-time record to beat the Saints. Just so phenomenal, man. But now let's break down this game. For starters, biggest issue is we scored no offensive points. Our defense and our special teams literally got all the points. We got a touchdown on a muffed punt, we got a pick six, and then Younghoe Koo got 4 field goals. We did not score a single offensive touchdown and technically no offensive points because Younghoe Koo is considered special teams. Every single point we got was either from the defense or the special teams today. Now, let's start with the good. Obviously, right? First thing first, like I said, we won. Cousins, for the most part, looked pretty good. The only time Cousins looked bad was on that interception he threw and the final drive there. Those are the only 2 times that I criticized Cousins at all. Besides that, he went 21 for 35 passing, 238 yards, no touchdowns, but there was a really, really big BS call where the Atlanta Falcons did a screen play to Bijan Robinson. He busted it into the end zone, and the refs called holding on it. The announcer said it wasn't holding. Even the specialist, the rule analyst that they had in the booth, when they came in, he's like, yeah, I've seen a lot worse not called than that. Falcons got absolutely hosed on that holding call. Bad penalties happen all the time, right? Bad penalties happen all the time. It just really sucks when the Falcons now back-to-back weeks have had penalties, or I guess last week they didn't get a penalty call on them on Kyle Pitts, what should have been a touchdown, and that negated a touchdown. And now this week they get a touchdown negated because a penalty was called. So really hard for the Falcons, but every single fan base can point at penalties that should or should not have gone their way. Some teams more than others, like the Chiefs, but it happens to every single team. We still weren't able to capitalize after that, and it led to a field goal. Now, rushing-wise, Tyler Algier was absolutely great for us today. Bijan was good too, don't get me wrong. Averaging 4 yards a rush is very good. Just Tyler Algier averaging 7.5 yards per rush. We looked great in the second half. Our second half running game was absolutely phenomenal. I would have loved to be able to come away with points. We kicked 3 field goals in the second half. Those were our only points. It was enough to get the win. We had 17 at halftime, but only 3 field goals is very upsetting. Drake London looked good. Our wide receivers looked very good this game. It's crazy how good Darnell Mooney and Ray McLeod have actually been for the Atlanta Falcons this year. Last year, Drake London was the only real wide receiver that did any damage for us. And now we got a number 2 and a number 3 wide receiver who complement this offense very well. You want to know who doesn't complement this offense very well? Freaking Kyle Pitts, who I already made a short on it. We need to trade Kyle Pitts. It's time to have this conversation. Kyle Pitts needs to go. On the season now, in 4 games, through 4 games, he is averaging 2 catches a game for 26 yards. 2 catches for 26 yards is what Kyle Pitts is is what he's doing. And if I'm the Falcons, if any team is foolish enough to offer us a second round pick for him, take it. I think more than likely he's probably worth a third round pick because he still does have high potential, but just the effort isn't there. His route running isn't there. His hands are worse. He looks so much worse than when he did in college and as a rookie. Even as a rookie, he looked so good. And now Kyle Pitts looks like trash. Literally, me or you, the viewers watching this, would have been more effective or had the same exact effectiveness as Kyle Pitts. I did the same exact thing that Kyle Pitts did today, except Kyle Pitts actually made money doing it. I sat on my ass and watched him do jack all. We need to trade him. I would love a second. I highly doubt a team's actually going to give us that. Maybe a team in playoff contention if their tight end gets hurt. I really don't know. I can't think of who that would be off the top of my head. Maybe the Bengals, if they somehow make a run, could give us a second or a third, but I highly doubt that. It's probably going to realistically be a third from a team for Kyle Pitts. But at this point, what would you rather have? A third round pick or a tight end who has 0 yards on 3 targets and who doesn't show any fucking effort? What would you rather want? I would take the third round pick. I don't care that we drafted him 4th overall. He's clearly not working out. Okay? Our offense did really good except score touchdowns. We had 4 field goals from Younghoe Koo. Our offense did really good besides touchdowns. We had that one really bad interception, and then the very last drive of the game really pissed me off. Before I get into the last play of the game, let's quickly just go over the drives here that we had, right? So first drive of the game, Falcons get the ball. The Saints muff the punt, which gives the Falcons a touchdown. Then the Saints score a touchdown on their next drive. Then we throw a terrible interception. I don't know what the hell Kirk Cousins was doing. The announcer said he was throwing it to a spot and his wide receiver fell down, but his wide receiver, even if he stood up, no way would have gotten to that spot. It was a bad throw regardless. Saints capitalize and get a touchdown of their own. Then our next drive, we were able to go all the way down and march to the Saints 35, and then we're forced to kick a field goal. Then Derek Carr threw a pick 6, straight heat, and then we decided to go punt, and then under the half, 14-17. Saints get the ball to start the second half, punt. We then get the ball and we get a field goal and we go down to the Saints 26-yard line this time. And the Saints get a field goal, then we get a field goal on our next drive. Again, we make it to the Saints 24, so we keep on making it in between the Saints 20 and 35-yard line. Then we stop the Saints on 4th down. Then our last 2 drives here, trash. Our last 2 drives here were terrible. So our second half drives went field goal, punt, field goal, and our last 2 drives sucked. Our last 2 drives really sucked. This 3-and-out drive here, absolutely terrible by the Atlanta Falcons here. So to set up the game for you guys here, the Saints previous drive went for it on 4th and goal from the 7-yard line. They didn't kick the field goal to make it a 3-point game. They tried to score, and their thought process is, well, if we don't score, we'll have the Falcons on their own 7, and let's just stop them, right? And the Saints have all 3 timeouts. There's 4 minutes left. So with 4 minutes left into the game here, the Atlanta Falcons need to chew clock, right? The Saints have all 3 timeouts, and there's 4 minutes left the clock. We're up by 6, and we're on our 7. So we need to, hopefully, if you're successful on this drive, you can win the game on this drive, right? Very first play we run with Tyler Algier for 0 yards, right? So obviously right there, not a good run. But it forces the Saints to call a timeout, right? 2nd and 10. We throw it to Kyle Pitts. Incomplete. 3rd and 10. We throw it to Tyler Algier. He picks up 7 yards and then steps out of bounds. So we go 3-and-out, chew up 29 seconds of clock, and the Saints only have to use 1 timeout. Terrible drive. Absolutely disgusting drive there from the Falcons. Saints were able to capitalize, go all the way down, score a touchdown on us on 3rd and goal. They chewed up a lot of clock themselves. And then this drive here, this is the drive that I said really pissed me off. Kirk Cousins, what the flip are you doing, Cousins? What are you doing? Kirk Cousins, man, what the hell? So, very first, this drive was just hell. First play, we do a 5-yard pass to Ray McLeod, okay? So what? Then we get a false start and a 10-second runoff. So now we only have 30 seconds left, and it's 2nd and 10. So now we've already pissed away 30 seconds and have gone nowhere. So we just lose literally 30 seconds and it's 2nd and 10. Then on that 2nd and 10 play was the only good play of the entire drive, where Darnell Mooney got wide open. Kirk Cousins placed a great ball on him, and the Saints guy had to do a PI. If he didn't, he literally pulled down Mooney. If he didn't pull down Mooney, Mooney would have caught it anyways. So the Saints player just, instead of letting Mooney be able to catch it and then maybe get more yards, just took the pass interference. Then here we are. We are now currently on the Saints' 40-yard line. It's a 58-yard kick. We do not have any timeouts, but we have 23 seconds left. Younghoe Koo's previous longest kick, I think, was like 55, 54 yards. So we needed to get 5 more yards, and he already made a 50-yarder this game, right? But he's never made one from 58. If you're a Falcons fan, you're thinking, oh my god, get 10 more yards and Koo's golden. Even if you get only 5 more yards, that still allows Koo not to have to kick his longest career kick ever. I think it was 54 yards. So you're saying, oh my god, just get 4 more yards, and we know Younghoe Koo can make this kick. Get 5 more yards. It's 1st and 10. What's stopping Atlanta from either just running the ball or just doing a little just a little crossing route with Ray McCloud or Darnell Mooney, or even Bijan Robinson, have him run a slant route? What's wrong with trying to pick up 5-10 yards? Because you pick up 5 to 10 yards, right? You can then spike the ball. There's probably, about 10 seconds left? And then Younghoe Koo can make the kick. And then on 3 straight plays, we try to go for 20 plus yards. I do not fucking understand what the hell Kirk Cousins was thinking, or Robinson. I mean, even if it was a deep play call, you do not have plays where everyone is deep. You do not have plays where everyone's deep. There are check down guys, and you know what? Maybe no one was wide open. So after the first time, you know what? Okay, I get it. You take a shot the first play, it's still 2nd and 10 with 18 seconds left. Do the crossing play. And then hike the ball with 5 seconds left and let Younghoe Koo kick a 50-yard field goal. You know, if you pick up 5 to 10 yards, Younghoe Koo only has to kick a 50-yard field goal. The Atlanta Falcons then go deep pass again. Younghoe Koo, thankfully, is the frickin' GOAT and was able to make a 50-yard kick, his longest in his career and the longest that the Falcons have ever had at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Younghoe Koo bailed us out. Absolutely bailed us out. We should have easily been able to pick up 5 to 10 more yards for Younghoe Koo. I have no clue what we were thinking. I don't know if that was our offensive coordinator Robinson. I don't know if that was Raheem Morris. I don't know if that was Cousins. Probably all of them, but they're all idiots. And thank the Lord we have a good kicker who bailed us out. Younghoe Koo, the absolute GOAT. Now, I don't want this analysis video to be too long. Like I said, I talked about the good things in this game. I really liked our offense for the most part, besides that we couldn't capitalize on and get touchdowns, and that very last drive was really ridiculous. Our receivers looked great. Our running game was really good. Our offensive line, for having 2 backup offensive linemen in, only allowing 1 sack, and the Saints barely getting any pressure, phenomenal. But now let's talk about the bad that I really didn't like in this game, and why I'm kind of worried about this Falcons team. They're 2-2, and I have no clue how to feel about the Falcons right now. I truly don't. We've won by 1 point and 2 points, and then lost by 5 points and 7 points. But we've been playing good teams too. So I really want to see how we do when we play a bad team. Every single team we've played has had a winning record. We've played the 3-1 Saints, the 4-0 Chiefs, the 2-2 Eagles, and the 2-2 Saints. So we have yet to play a quote-unquote bad team yet. So I really want to see what happens when we go up against like the Panthers. I guess that's really the only bad team that we play for a while, so it's going to be that Panthers game week 6. So we're in all these close games with good teams, but there's some big issues. The biggest issue that the Atlanta Falcons have, that we all knew was going to be a massive issue, is our pass rush. Our pass rush is absolutely abysmal. We have 4 sacks on the season in 4 games, which that itself isn't good. That's not that good. At least we're getting a sack a game. But it's still not the best thing in the world, especially when the Saints, they were also without 2 starting offensive linemen, plus Ryan Ramczyk. So the Saints had a backup center, a backup right guard, and a backup right tackle, and we got 1 sack. And that 1 sack was on a corner blitz, when we blitzed 6, and the corner literally went unchecked. Which means that the Saints' offensive line, with 3 backups in, didn't allow a single sack. Arnold Ebiketie, time to fucking go. Time to pack your bags. He's in year 3 now. We all thought he was going to take a big step up. Hasn't. It's only been 4 weeks, but my God, you're going up against backups. Nothing. Matthew Judon, he's doing okay. Judon's doing okay. He did force that interception that Derek Carr threw. He's got 1.5 sacks. Grady Jarrett's still always good, but it's 4 sacks, man. 4 sacks, and today our only sack, like I said, was on a corner blitz. The Saints offensive line completely Derek Carr was having clean pocket after clean pocket. Barely any pressure for Derek Carr. And the defense, I still do not know how I feel about our defense, man. Yes, our defense got that great pick six. So the lack of pass rush is my number one biggest concern of this team. We can't keep letting every single team's quarterback just having clear pockets and not forcing any pressure at all. It's not good for our defense. It doesn't matter how good our secondary is, even though we have arguably the best safety duo in the league with Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates. It doesn't matter how good they are if the other team's quarterback is having all the time in the world to throw and just sit there in the pocket. My second biggest issue is how bad our offense is in the second half and just our inability to score touchdowns in the second half as a whole. We're going to exclude the Eagles game here. The Eagles game was a little bit different. So in our week 1 game against the Steelers, we scored 0 points in the second half. Zero points in the second half. In our week 3 game against the Chiefs, we scored 3 points in the second half. And now in this week, we scored 9 points in the second half. 3 field goals. So in those 3 games in the second half, we have 4 field goals. 12 points. That's it. Now, in the Eagles game, we had 2 touchdowns and we scored 16 points. So the Eagles game was the outlier here. But now in 3 of our games, we have a combined total of 12 points on 4 field goals in the second half in 3 games now. And our second half offense has just been abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. As I showed you here, we had 4 drives where it went field goal, 3 and out, field goal. Those were our second half drives. And I'm glad that we're at least able to go down and march down the field, but man, we need touchdowns. If any of those field goals are touchdowns, the Saints don't even come back in this game. The Saints don't even come back. So my 2 biggest issues, our pass rush is abysmal, and our second half offense has yet to score I guess in 3 games, hasn't scored a touchdown. Eagles game was the outlier. But where are these second half points, man? It's really disgusting how we score 17 points in the first half and then get 9 points in the second half. Or the week before in the Chiefs, where we score 14 points in the first half and then score literally 3 points in the second. I feel like there's not too much I can talk about. As the season goes on, we'll see what happens with these Atlanta Falcons, but we got the win. It was a sloppy win. There's so many things we need to fix. We'll see what happens. As it stands right now, I really think that we are a 9-8 team. So we'll see if 9-8 gets us in the playoffs. And who knows, maybe we turn things around. But we still have 5 more divisional games. We still have to play the Saints again in New Orleans. We have to play the Bucks twice. We have to play the Cowboys, who the Cowboys are historically really good against us. We have to play Seattle, who's undefeated. We have to play the Minnesota Vikings, who are undefeated. We have to play the Chargers, who don't look like they're the best offense, but their offense is really hurt, but their defense is really good. We have to play the Commanders, who are really good all of a sudden. We have some tough games on our schedule still. I really think we're a 9-8 team. Maybe if we tweak some things, make it better. At best, I can see us being 11-6. That's such a long shot, though. That's such a long shot. Realistically, if I had to predict right now where we're going to be 9-8. And I don't think 9-8 wins the division unless we beat the Bucks in both the games against the Bucks, and we play the Bucks next week. If we win next week, Thursday Night Football against the Bucks, I will feel a lot better about this team. I will really feel a lot better about this Atlanta Falcons team. If we play how we did today against the Bucks on Thursday, we're going to lose. Straight up, we're going to lose. The Bucks, I think, are a better team than the Saints. They have a better offense. We are going to lose if we play exactly how we did today against the Bucks on Thursday. So we'll see how I feel after Thursday. Like I said, I think we're 9-8. I think the Bucks win the division, but my mind can easily be changed with a good game on Thursday. So that's what I'm hoping for. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been CM Freeze. If you've enjoyed this Atlanta Falcons analysis, please leave a comment. Subscribe if you want more content like this. If this is not what you like, you don't have to subscribe. But always leave a comment. At least, I guess you don't have to, but I really appreciate just the comments, just to see what you like, what you don't like. Give me feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.